20th of May, and this is Breakfast Daily. My name is David Kwekusechi again.
Now it's an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. Use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear what you're thinking.
Yes, and the WhatsApp line that we have is 0550-585832. If you happen to be outside Ghana, you want to communicate with us, please add +233, the country code.
Now every morning we start the show off with our quote of the day, so we take a look at our quote of the day.
So the quote of the day is from Ariana Huffington, a businesswoman and an author. She says, we think mistakenly that success is the result of the amount of time we put in at work instead of the quality of time we put in. So I think it's a very important reminder that not just to work hard, but to work smart, all right? Quality of work is a lot more important towards giving us success than the quantity of work.
I completely agree, right? And so for some of us who have grown up, you know, under the illusion that you should just be sitting there pretending to be working, you know, it's actually the effort you put in that matters, not the time. It's always quality over quantity. So let's keep that in mind. And it's good for your own personal development. Yeah. You're not doing it for anyone, you're doing it for yourself. Yeah.
Well, we have some new numbers, a quick update on the new numbers. Our total case count is now 6,096. 6,096, so we've crossed over into the 6,000s now. Our recoveries have also gone up, 1,773, and then death rate is, as it was yesterday, 31. So that's where we are. The good thing when you analyze and break down the numbers is that the recovery rate is very good. So it's 29% recovery rate, which is a little just below the African average for recovery. But our death rate is very low, which is 0.5%. That is way, way, way lower than the African average. The African average is at 3%, and ours is at 0.5%. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
And as we are counting more positive cases, it's very important for us to not stigmatize people who are positive, okay? COVID-19 is just like any other disease. It might stay with us longer than we think. So please, it's important for us to be a bit more compassionate and empathetic to people who are dealing with COVID-19.
Yeah. Now, on Monday, I saw a fantastic story online. It just blew me away. There's a story of a mother and a daughter who graduated from medical school same time.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, really? How? You know, and I read into the story and I realized that the mother who was a registered nurse, okay, and while she was a registered nurse, she had always had desires of becoming a medical doctor, and then she's worked really hard as a single mom, put her daughter through school, you know, and made sure that she got the best schools at every single time and every single opportunity. And eventually when her daughter went to medical school, she said, look, you know what, it's time for me to do what I have always wanted to do. And she had also applied for medical school at the same time. There are Cynthia's the mother, and Jasmine is the daughter. Cynthia and Jasmine Kuji, doctors Cynthia and Jasmine Kuji. Fantastic story. So we have them actually with us by Zoom. Yes, cool. All the way from the U.S.
Wow.
Let's say good morning to you, doctors Cynthia and Jasmine. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
We're very well, thank you. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So what time is it where you are right now?
Oh, it is 2:42 in the morning.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry for waking you guys up so early.
Oh, no problem.
But I'm sure you're used to it in your medical school days. You're used to staying up late.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Cynthia, I want to start with you because you started off even as a nursing assistant, then made your way up, and now you're a doctor. A lot of parents, especially single mothers, tend to give up on their dreams when they have kids and live through their kids. What inspired you to say, I'm not only going to support Jasmine, but I'm going to use her as an inspiration to chase my own dreams as well?
You know, my parents are from Ghana, and so education was primary in our family. It was instilled in all of us, my brother and my sister, from the time we were little. And so no matter what happened in life, you knew that, number one, you had to be educated. You had to complete whatever mission you started. And so when I became pregnant with Jasmine, even though, I knew that I needed to get a job, and that was pretty much the primary reason why I went into nursing. I always wanted to be a physician, and my mom told me one time when I was in high school, she said, you never fail until you stop trying. I've always held that dear to me. So even though I was pregnant and I was a single mom, the dream of being a physician has always been there. And so, as a parent, the mistakes that you make, you get better, right? Children. You teach them everything that you did wrong so that they can do everything right. And so for Jasmine, when she came along, the very first thing I did was give her a stethoscope. It was like, okay, here we go. There's a scripture that says, you train up a child in the way they shall go and they shall not depart from it.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm gonna try this. So my thing was wherever I went, she was there. If I went to class, she was there. If I went to see a patient, she was there. And a lot of times you do it out of necessity because you don't have a babysitter or whatever. But on the track, you realize that she's picking up everything and she's absorbing everything.
Wow. So let me come to Jasmine and ask you, Jasmine, so
yes.
What was it like when you started medical school, knowing that your mom was also in medical school? Was there any pressure there?
My mom has always been great. She hasn't put a lot of pressure on me. For her, it's as long as I'm doing my best, that's good enough for her. Okay. If anything, it was more support that I knew that I had because she understood exactly what I was going through. If I was stressed, I knew that she was stressed, and I could call her and I could lean on her, and we could lean on each other. So she was my rock through this entire process.
Okay. Fantastic.
So Jasmine, your mom talks about taking you to work with her. How did that influence your own values? Seeing how hardworking, resilient, and driven she was.
I mean, my mom she is the reason I am who I am today. All the things that you named, hardworking, resilient, those are things that are 100% necessary in order to complete this journey of completing medical school. And because she mirrored that for me, I almost could not fail. She was my goal. I looked up to her so much. I still look up to her so much, and without that image, I don't think I could have made it as far as I did.
Wow.
Yeah, Cynthia, let me ask you a question here. You started off. Were you born in the States?
No, so I was born in Kenyasi.
Okay.
I was in Kenyasi till I was about 2.
Okay.
My father came to the United States. My grandfather literally put up the farm to get my father to the States because he wanted to go to the university. So when he came to the U.S., he always talks about he came with $10. He sent my mom $1 and said when she got here that he should call her, right?
Wow.
And he came with that $1, and it came with the hopes that that they would be able to, complete their education here.
Okay.
And initially, I think they wanted to go back to Ghana, and I think that's always the plan. But as we grew older and we kind of assimilated into being, in the U.S., it became very apparent as we got older, that we had kind of lost touch, even though our parents, we grew up under Ghanaian traditions. We still fufu, say, everything. My parents spoke Chi, my father's from Lolaby, but we were so rooted in the U.S. culture as well, that I think for them, the decision to stay became just very apparent. Because we grew up in also, the U.S. schools and everything.
Yeah.
So for me, it was balancing my Ghanaian culture with my U.S. culture and learning to love them both.
Okay. What has reaction of family been like since they heard what's happened with you?
Oh
and
my gosh. Look, I called my mom yesterday because I give her some information, but she was in tears. She was so elated. Everybody in the family's been calling, uncles and aunties, cousins. Everybody has been calling. It's been amazing. We've gotten responses from people all over Ghana, Nigeria, people in the U.S., all over the different states. Oh my God.
Wow.
We just never could have expected anything like this. Never.
Wow. And we're so proud. Okay, Jasmine, I think you're saying something.
In Spain, in Ukraine, I mean, literally, it's all over. It's amazing the response that we've gotten. It's overwhelming.
Wow. Now, my next question is for both of you. So I think Cynthia can answer first, and then Jasmine, you'll answer. There are a lot of statistics out there, especially when it comes to being a single mother in the U.S. and in Ghana and across the world. And they tend to stigmatize single mothers. Like if you're a single mom, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to be this way. In a way, it victimizes you and limits your dreams and your potential. And if you're a child born by a single parent, there are all these statistics being thrown about. You're going to end up this way, that way. How did you manage to say, in spite of all the things that the researchers are saying I'm supposed to be, I'm not going to be a statistics. I'm going to set a goal for myself, and I'm going to show that it is possible to achieve all of this?
I think I have to go back to my parents. When I became pregnant, I think the biggest fear for them was that once I became pregnant, that I would not be able to continue on. Because here I am, just graduating or about to graduate from Tulane University, and now I'm pregnant. And it was a huge disappointment. I was supposed to go straight to medical school. In the U.S., at least during that time, even though the stigmatism of being a single mom is there, because there's so many opportunities, you have the choice and to be able to say, you know what, I can go on. It's not like doomsday because you are a single mom. Yes, I had to get on welfare. Yes, I had to get on food stamps. Yes, I had to buy clothes from Goodwill, secondhand, and that's all fine and dandy. But as long as you're willing to go through it, like my mom said, you never fail until you stop trying. So as long as the opportunity is available, it doesn't matter whether you're a single mom, whether, as long as you're willing, the Lord is with you and you're able to just keep going, keep fighting, keep struggling, you can make it. You don't have to succumb to the negativity, because negativity is going to be there no matter what you do, whether it's good, whether you do bad, the negativity is going to be there. So why even consider it, right? So for me, as long as I had an opportunity to work, to study, to teach my child, then for me, there was no question. I just needed to just keep going until eventually, I knew that I was going to make it. Eventually.
And here you are.
And
you made it, girl. Jasmine.
I mean, as you can see, I had no choice but to succeed, because every day, these were the speeches that I was getting. You can do it. And even if you feel like you can't do it, just try. you fail at everything that you don't try at. You miss every shot that you don't take, right? So, my mom was my biggest supporter, growing up. And there were a lot of things that I, did not succeed at. In science in general, I honestly was not good at.
Really?
Wow.
I was not good at. But she said, if you want to be a physician, this is what you want to do, then you work at it. You study the extra hours. Even if you're doing extracurriculars and you're trying to, pad your resume and all those good things, you still have to struggle and focus and get through it despite, everything that is against you.
Yeah. So Cynthia, let me ask you, was there any point in time where you felt like, you know what, I wanted to do this, I have tried, I think, let me just walk away?
Oh, those thoughts come all the time. All the time. But this is how I approach it. Feelings are no more than your thoughts.
Okay.
Right? If you right now, you're depressed, you feel down, you feel like you're not going to make it, right? If a fire in the house comes at that moment, you are not going to be depressed.
No.
You are not going to be sad, right? You are going to get up and you're going to run. Because the feeling comes and goes, right? Yeah. It's here today, it's gone tomorrow. So it's a decision to give into those feelings. So if a lot of times, those thoughts are gonna come. I want to give up. And for me, when I was coming up, it was all about not having those images before you.
Yeah.
Not seeing that strong female physician in front of you. Those images weren't there. I remember watching the Bill Cosby show and thinking, oh my God, they have an African-American male physician and an African-American female attorney. Who sees that on TV? You didn't see that.
Okay. Right?
So even the thought of just, can I really be a physician? What was there? Because all your counterparts, they're scoring all the high scores, right? And you don't have that like in front of you to someone to say, okay, take this step, take this step, take this step. Our parents are our biggest influence because you see them succeed, right? They give you the hope that, hey, I can make it. Yeah. So regardless of what my thoughts say, that come and go along with my feelings, right? I have got to stay focused that, look, if I do not continue, right, I've already failed, right? But if I continue and work at it and don't give up, then I'm gonna make it regardless of how I feel. You can't give in to those feelings. Wish-washy. You're saying harm.
Jasmine, this is for you. Walk us through how you felt on March 20th when you were both when you both found out that you were going to go to LSU residency.
Yes. So that was a day just full of emotions. The email comes in at 11 o'clock in the morning to tell you whether or not you've matched and to tell you where you've matched. And so in the morning, I'm just sitting there for hours, just waiting on it to come in. I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm anxious. I mean, all the thoughts came in my mind. But then when the email came in and I saw that I matched, I was ecstatic. I was elated. And I think that my mom's email came in a few minutes earlier.
Okay.
So yeah, she texted me and she was like, oh my gosh, I matched. And I was like, oh my gosh, I matched.
All right, so to just help us for the Ghanaian audience, what is matching? If you can help us to understand that. What is matching?
So matching, basically, I don't know if y'all are familiar with like the NFL draft or like sports draft processes. Okay. Essentially, when you're applying to medical school, you apply to tons of different programs, residency programs. And you make a list of your top programs, and then the programs also make a list of their top applicants. And everything gets put into a computer system called the Match program. And on March 20th, that computer program basically decides your fate. It decides what program you're going to go to for the next 3 to 5 years. Oh, wow. So it's very nerve-wracking. It's very exciting. And, some people get bad news on that day. Some people get the best news ever on that day. So it's, you never know what's coming.
And then also on like, let's say there are 2,000, let's say for instance, if there's 2,000 residency programs, right? You'll have over 5,000 applicants apply for each program, right? And then the program might only pick 50 to interview.
Okay.
And out of that 50 that they interview, they may only have 6 positions.
Wow.
So it's very, very competitive, you know, and it's very expensive, you know, because you're going to these interviews, right? And you don't have a job, you don't have the medical students. Right?
You're in debt, probably.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then when you're a mom, right? Your daughter's saying, "Mommy, I need $4,000 for my applications," right? So it becomes extremely, it can be very stressful, right? Then you have to go on these interviews that are all over the country. You're flying here, and you're flying to different places, and you know the meals and you know the clothing, everything. The expenses become high. So, you know, but it all comes together that day.
Wow. Well, it's fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking with us. It's been really, really wonderful, Dr. Cynthia and Jasmine Kuji. We are really grateful for you to stay up late like that and speak to us here on Breakfast Daily. Thank you.
And you both look flawless, by the way. You look like you just got out of bed. Just putting that out there. I look forward to watching your YouTube channels and following you on all the things that you're going to achieve. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you,
Well, thank you so much
for staying for Breakfast Daily. My name is Jaffa Ikea Amatam.
And I'm David Kwekusechi, News Review.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain housing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, TEMA, and TECRADE, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in TEMA at Community 4, or in TECRADE on the second floor of the GCB building. Website BethelLogistics.com. BethLOG, experts in shipping logistics.
Extra data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. See the film? Simply dial *111# to bundle now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
There are those with untold stories, unraveled feats, life-changing stories, and lasting legacies. They tell their stories themselves right here on Footprints.
So we go to someone we were put in our various cells, and then someone you have it's a huge prison. And then it was then that it dawned on me that I was really in big trouble.
Do you think that the overthrow of Liman was justified?
I think that with hindsight, there was no justification.
Be inspired by their hard work and resilience that led to those outstanding achievements as we trace their footsteps through the capsule of time.
Because of my upbringing, my mother, my father, they are, Christianity.
Yeah.
So because of that,
strong hands at home.
Even though I'm the guy smoking, doing all kinds of that, I've never tried.
You've never tried?
No, never tried weed or anything. Nothing.
You've never tried weed?
Even drinking, alcohol, no.
Why should you people put everything, Kwame. Everything was done before Nkrumah arrived in the country.
No, I hold Nilebaye.
I hold Nilebaye.
So join me, Samuel Atamensa, and my guests every Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. only on City TV.
Footprint is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll take a look at our newspaper headlines and then some online stories, and then we'll introduce our guests who are already seated here with us. Let's start off with the New Crusading Guide. On the front page of the New Crusading Guide, we have Ochinhene heats up, orders all ritualists to leave Ochiman. That story is on pages 3 and 10. I'm determined to protect jobs. That's coming from President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We'll now go on to the Ghanaian Times. President launches 1 billion Ghana cedi COVID-19 support fund for MSMEs affected by the pandemic. That story is on page 12. 158 police facilities to be disinfected in the Ashanti region. That story is on page 11. We'll now go on to the Daily Graphic. Government will protect jobs, President declares at stimulus package launch. That story is on page 3. Reopening of schools, parents weigh risk. That story is on pages 16 and 33. And there's an interesting story here that was also on CNR last night. Father jailed 2 years for cutting son's earlobe. That story is on page 36, and it's a very terrible one. We're happy that justice has been served. We'll now go on to the Daily Statesman. Ochinhene wages war against criminal voodoo priests. That story is on page 2. Government will be transparent. President assures on 1 billion Ghana cedi COVID-19 business support. That story is on page 2. Finally, we'll take a look at the custodian. 1 billion Ghana cedi COVID-19 cash for SMEs as Akufo-Addo launches business support scheme. That story is on page 3 of the custodian. Government clears over 2 billion Ghana cedi ECG debt. That is coming from the Energy Minister, John Peter Amewu, and that story is on page 2 of the custodian. We'll now take a look at our online story, starting with citynewsroom.com. NIA boss hits back at NDC after deeply offensive election rigging allegations. And of course, we'll be taking a look at the NIA boss statement there. He said it on face-to-face last night with Godfred Akoto-Boafo, and he said a lot of other things, including, not feeling any wrong for continuing the Eastern Region registration. So, of course, on City Newsroom, we still have more stories there for you. And on City Business News, you can hear all of your stories. Display dead bodies to raise awareness on COVID-19 ethically inappropriate. That's coming from a clinical psychologist. And of course, that is a response to Honorable Alban Bagbin saying that we should show something to the general public that people are dying of COVID-19 so that they will take some of the measures that government is proposing we take to protect ourselves a bit more seriously. COVID-19 cases in Ghana jumped to 6,096. Recoveries now 1,773. Ghana requests for Madagascar's COVID-19 herbal cure for testing. That's coming from the Information Minister, Kojo Opong Nkrumah. We'll now take a look at some business news from citybusinessnews.com, your #1 platform for all news related to business. An African candidate could be the next World Trade Organization Director General. That's coming from trade analysts, and they are predicting that. NIC vows to deal with producers of fake motor insurance stickers. So, of course, you can get all of your news from citynewsroom.com, and you can get all of your business news from citybusinessnews.com. And it is an interactive show. We want to hear from you. So wherever you're watching us from, please use the hashtag BreakfastDaily for us to hear from you. And the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. I have been joined by Laratu Musa Saka, who is a member of the NPP National Communications Team. Good morning, Laratu.
Good morning, Liva.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
I also have with me Abigail Elom Mensah, who is the Deputy National Women's Organizer of NDC. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well,
thank you so much for being with us.
Welcome.
We'll take a look at our first story, and I'll be reading from citynewsroom.com. It has to do with the updated COVID-19 case. And on citynewsroom.com, we have COVID-19 cases in Ghana jumped to 6,096. Recoveries now 1,773. Ghana COVID-19 case count has risen to 6,096 following the confirmation of 178 new cases. The Ghana Health Service disclosed this in its latest update on Tuesday night. That was yesterday night. The update indicates that there has been an increase in the number of cases in 4 regions: Greater Accra, Ashanti, Western, and Central region. 19 more recoveries have also been confirmed, increasing the number of recoveries to 1,773. So the breakdown of regions that have positive cases of COVID-19 are Greater Accra region 4,536, Ashanti region 888, Central region 256, Western region 111, Eastern region 100, Western North region 57, Volta region 41, Northern region 31, Oti region 26, Upper East region 26 as well. So Laratu, I want to start with you on this topic of COVID-19. The numbers have gone up, but the recoveries have also gone up, and tied into the conversation around stigmatization that we've been hearing all week long.
Okay, so before I even address that, let me just say a good morning to our viewers, then most especially to the Muslim community. Today is day 27 of Ramadan, gradually inching to the end of it, and we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts our prayers and also help us by the end of this Ramadan see the end to COVID-19. With the issue of numbers going up and recoveries, I think I would want to focus on the positive bit of it, which is the increase in recoveries. With the rates it's going now, and with more numbers expected, I want to believe that's a test for the interventions and the directives that have been given so far and what we are doing as a country. Because if we are to expect another close to 1,000 recoveries, then we must be doing something right. I mean, there have been calls for Ghana to come out with some of the things we are doing. I think a couple of weeks back, there was a conversation on hydroxychloroquine. And in a country where people have the attitude of going in for self-medication, I think some of those calls should be looked at carefully before we get other problems on our hands. But tying it into stigmatization, I mean, with the society we live in, I mean, it comes with it. Because this is novel. Most people don't even know. Every day there's something new about it. We learn new things. We hear of new forms. There's so much fake news going on. And it is expected because people are confused, people are afraid. But I also think that with the awareness creation going on, with the sensitization, we should pay heed to some of these things and rather draw these people closer. Because it's only when we draw them closer that we will understand the reality. Because for most of us, we are just conjecturing. Even for medical staff, it's more like doing the best that they can do. Because a cure hasn't been found, there's no vaccine yet, so it's like everybody is doing the best that we can do. So the best that we can also do for people who have been through this difficult period is to draw them closer and understand what the real situation is. To do. There have been a lot of directives where the number of recoveries. It's obvious those things are working. But we also need to be able to relate to the reality of them. But if we decide to stigmatize, and this has been happening in the days of, should I say, Apollo, HIV/AIDS, N1, H1N1 is a bird flu. Then, not long ago, Ebola. Thank God it didn't get to the point where we are. But for people to be stigmatizing people who have recovered, and these are recoveries, they are not cured because there's no cure, there's no vaccine. So we are all at risk.
Thank
so
you.
Stigmatizing them, I think we all need to look at it and be a bit sensitive to their plight.
Thank you very much. Abigail, briefly on this, and then we'll move towards Honorable Alban Bagman said yesterday about displaying the bodies.
So I'll just say good morning to all your viewers, and then quickly say that it's clear we've lost the fight when it comes to containment of the disease. Now, when you look at now at 6,096 cases with a death of 31, which is about 0.5% of the cases, and then 29.1% of the recoveries, we are still below where other countries are when it comes to recoveries. We are jumping that we've had 1,000 and something recoveries, but
almost 2,000.
Yeah, but the rate is about 38.9 across the world, and we are 29. So I don't see how we would jubilate and say that we have done well and all that. Yes, government is trying, but I don't think that they've done enough. I watched a video on City TV some time ago, just about a week or two ago, where a lady actually said that she doesn't even believe that the virus is in this country. It tells you clearly that there has not been education, proper education to the people as to what really this is all about. People don't believe that the disease is even in Ghana. And so if you come and you say that we have done well with all these things, initially when these things started and they were like, oh, spread fear, spread calm and not fear, spread calm and not fear. I was like, look, for Ghanaians...
Let me help you. You click it like this, then you're fine. On top of your nose.
For Ghanaians, we should rather spread fear so that it will scare them to do the right thing, than say that we are spreading calm, so that they will think that, oh, everything is fine, there's nothing wrong. Oh, right now, even with everything happening around us, going back to where it's not even there. You understand? So it is more about letting people know what really the situation is.
So you would agree with Honorable Alban Bagbin on the notion that we should perhaps display?
that is too extreme.
Let me read what he said, and then I'll get your feedback on it. So Honorable Alban Bagbin says we should display dead bodies on TV to show Ghanaians that COVID-19 is real. So I'm going to quote him. He says, the important thing is that the people we are leading, they want to see. In fact, I want to see on television some evidence of death, because when you state that this number of people are dead, but they are not seeing anything like that, it will not give them the shock of their life. I believe in shock therapy. We need shock therapy to wake them up from slumber and make them know that COVID-19 is real.
It's thought.
The clinical psychologist responded to him, so I'm going to read what the clinical psychologist also said. So they're saying that displaying dead bodies to raise awareness on COVID-19 is ethically inappropriate. And I'm going to quote what Dr. Asamampong said. There are a number of ethical issues here. As a people, we do not want to expose understand the frustration that is associated with his speech, but I think to a large extent people will not accept something like that. People will not even want to watch the dead body of someone they do not know. It could trigger all sorts of problems for people. Now please respond.
Okay. So I think Honorable Alban Bagbin, like the clinical psychologist himself said, he's saying it out of the frustration that all of us are going through. I'm sure anybody who has my contact in this country will tell you that I've turned myself into a COVID, what do you call it, specialist or whatever. Because the moment I hear anything, I forward it to everybody on my contact. We don't know where this thing is coming from. We don't know how. We don't even have a vaccine for it at this point. So he's out of frustration. People will say a lot of things. I agree that government has not done enough to let people know that the thing is real. It's really there. Because you see, when Boris Johnson had the virus, we also, when he was in the ICU, there was a video when he was taken out of ICU, when he was going home. We saw how he was isolated, when he was giving his speeches and all that. Recently, just about a week or about some few days ago, we've heard how US is also treating this issue about some people at the White House having the virus, having tested and all that. So you see, there is enough to show the people that, look, even the Prime Minister of the country has caught the virus. So who are you? What's his name? Prince Charles also got it at some point, and by the grace of God, he was healed.
But we've not seen dead bodies from the UK.
Yes, we've not seen dead bodies, but we've seen bodies in what do you call it? Caskets being taken to burial and all that. You see, we've seen all that. I am saying that it is not, for me, I won't say that we should display dead bodies, but at least there should be something to put some, I don't know, I don't want to use the word fear, you know, I don't want to use the word fear for people to start getting scared, but at least something to prove that, look, this is real. And it's not like the normal virus we all know.
But you've not seen any of those things. Yes, you've become an advocate for COVID-19.
Yes, because I read, I watch. Okay. I watch what is happening in UK. I've seen the Canadian Prime Minister, his wife being isolated, he himself isolating himself You understand? I've seen what is happening around the world, and I don't see it in my country. We say we have 6,096 cases. One time, somebody called me when I sent a message out like that. The person called me and asked me, so where are the people who have caught the virus?
A lot of them have come out, especially those who have recovered. They've come out to share their stories, no?
For me, it was one person I watched. I think still on your when they asked him how he felt. He told everybody it's one person. You understand? I've not seen the thousands that they are saying that they have recovered. I'm not saying all of them should come.
Okay.
You see, this is not something that we should joke with. And it shouldn't be the normal that because I'm a politician and I'm saying it, somebody will look at it and think that, oh yeah, she's a politician, so she's doing politics with it. You understand? Yeah. See, the underlying factors that they are saying that has killed most of the people, the president always say it, that those that are dead, they have underlying factors. And it is obesity, diabetes, and all that. As I sit here, my mom is diabetic. You understand? Yeah. If she goes to the market now, she lives somewhere in Kaswa. Kaswa is one of the hotspots. Yeah. She goes to the market, she gets it. You understand? So it's serious than we are making it look like. Yeah. And I think that it's about time government takes time to let people know that this thing is really serious. Okay. We were in this country when NCCE came that they had been giving just 100 cedis per district. What will 100 cedis per district do? Will it even buy the fuel? When you go to my Frontier Kwasao constituency and you want to do education in the Frontier Kwasao, I don't think even 100 cedis fuel can fill that their van that goes round to do the education.
Please wrap up for us.
So what is government? Government must do something. And then we must make more efforts into letting people know what the prevention measures are. Okay. Which I think now they are saying that we all have to wear this mask. Very uncomfortable, but we are doing it, you know, just to prevent ourselves from getting it. And then there should be more public education on it. Okay. It is the duty of NCCE. The minister came on TV and said that if you are not a doctor or whatever, you shouldn't be talking about COVID issues. And then our general secretary asked him, is he also a medical doctor? So you see, if you educate people on it well, when people are educated, the person takes, right now we have all taken our lives into our own hands and we are protecting ourselves. The person knows that, look, at this point, I need to protect myself and my family.
Thank you very much, Abigail. Lars, do you agree with Honorable Bagbin that maybe we need a shock therapy to get more Ghanaians to know that this is real?
I don't know. I don't know whether to cry or to be sad. Why? Or, I mean, how do you even start a statement by saying, government, we've lost the fight? Okay. This is intriguing. And with all those things that she just said, I'm amazed, because you don't even know what, one time she's an advocate, one time government is not doing anything, one time people don't know what is happening. So what is she advocating people with? Right. I mean, I think time without number. The president has addressed the nation for 9 times now, leading this fight and making sure we all do what we are supposed to do. All the interventions that are coming. The Ministry of Information does a press briefing with all the relevant stakeholders twice a week to update us. All these interactions are in 13 languages. We have 16 regions, 13 languages. So, I don't know. We can't, it's not like there's a manual for fighting COVID-19 that someone has sidestepped and doing what they want to do. And for a Ghanaian, for someone who is high-ranked in the biggest opposition party, because when I hear Deputy Women's Organizer, this is someone women listen to.
Oh, well, talk about
so if you sit down and talk as if, I think she's the one who has given up, and it's unfortunate. Okay, but saying we've lost this fight, I think you need to come again, my sister.
Okay, let's react
with
to
Honorable Bagbin's statement. I don't know. Respectfully, I think that's to the extreme.
Okay.
I mean, people have all kinds of conditions. And those even dying are people with underlying conditions. All kinds of NCDs. This is an upper respiratory disease. Imagine someone with asthma. It comes with its own complications. But if we think that 6,000 plus people being positive, 31 people dying is not something for us to worry about, then I don't know the kind of people we are.
But you see people walking about the streets, not practicing social distancing.
You see, at this point in time, Jifa, on a normal day, if you go to the hospital and you are diagnosed of a disease and you are given medication, the responsibility is on you to take it or leave it. So at the end of the day, your health, your well-being is your responsibility first. His Excellency the President has shown leadership. What hasn't he done? Borders have been closed. There are protocols on enhanced hygiene. There's a new directive on wearing of nose mask. We have all these interventions that we have to do, washing of hands and all that.
So we need to take that.
We need what leadership has to do has been done. The information we need to churn out. The fact that all these things are being done doesn't mean that we should all throw our hands in the air and leave it. And at the end of the day,
on that one.
Who is government?
Yeah, and I'll let you continue right after this break. This is still Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is an interactive show. We want to hear from you, so use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832 for us to hear from you. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. We'll be right back.
Pay app. More social, more power, more services. Experience a cooler way of payments with exciting new features. Want to go social? Upload a cool image to add a personal feel to your account. Payments are even more seamless with an enhanced process. Mark some accounts as favorites so they are super for your favorite accounts. Want to repeat a payment? Do that right from the History tab. Have all your money in one place with a sleek look and feel. Bank Direct has had an awesome makeover. You can now send money instantly to 22 banks and counting. Express Pay. Payments simplified.
Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's an interactive show, so we want to hear from you. Wherever you're watching us from, do use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear from you on the WhatsApp line 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. I still have with me Laratu Musa Saka, who is a member of the NPP National Communications Team, as well as Abigail Elon Mensah, who's a Deputy National Women's Organizer of the NDC. And we were discussing Honorable Alban Bagbin saying that Ghanaians need a bit of shock therapy to understand the magnitude of the pandemic we have on our hands. And Laratu was responding to that.
Like I said, fear can make us say a lot of things respectfully, but I don't think his approach of the shock therapy is something we should do with. Like the WHO always says, the measures are there, but you need to tailor them to suit your kind of thing. I don't think parading dead bodies on national TV under these difficult times is the way to go. Look, the numbers are scary enough. I mean, even if we had lost one person, but you talk about 31 people dying. I mean, that's a lot. People have people in their communities that are suffering. The education needs to be intensive, and I think that the Honorable himself will also do us a lot of good if he also takes up the challenge of sensitizing his constituents. Because I think if the opposition, rather than sitting down to punch holes into the good intentions of the leadership of this country, will rather sit down and throw their hands in the air and think that we've lost the fight. At the end of the day, it could be you, it could be me, it could be my relative or yours. We are Ghanaians first. This is the only country we have. This is a pandemic. This is something we all have to deal with collectively. And I think the earlier we all fall in line, the better. This has nothing to do with what government has to do. Government has done enough, and it's obvious. All these things that we are doing, all these things that we are observing are directives led by government. So at the end of the day, let's be responsible for ourselves first. Let's care about our people. Let's sensitize people. Let's let people know that this is not a joke.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll take a look at our second story from citynewsroom.com. It says, NIA boss defends Ghana card registration in Eastern region amid COVID-19 scare. So the Executive Secretary of the National Identification Authority, Professor Kenneth Agyemang Atefa, has insisted that his outfit did no wrong when it refused to call off the Ghana card registration exercise in the Eastern region during the outbreak of COVID-19 in the country. According to him, NIA was very careful to adhere to all COVID-19 safety protocols during the mass registration exercise in the Eastern region. NIA, well, of course, we all know NIA came under intense pressure to stop it at the time when we were all asking people to stay home, no social gatherings, and they were still registering people. You go there and there's no social gathering. People are just sitting on benches and the likes. So I'm going to quote what he said on Face to Face. He says, NIA did the right thing. And I insist, I absolutely stand by that. All we did was to comply with the directives of the president. The president also said that businesses and other workplaces may continue to operate subject to the observance of social distancing and personal hygiene protocols. And that's exactly what we did. We do know that some of their own workers came out to say that they didn't even have Veronica buckets and hand sanitizers when the registration was still going on. But that's what the NIA boss had to say about the registration in the Eastern region. Your thoughts on?
Jifa, I just think that as a nation, the way we put our institutions and people we put in charge of the same institutions in the line of fire when they are doing their jobs, I think needs a certain re-looking at. Because I don't think anybody sets out in their line of duty to harm anybody. The NIA had a job to do. They set out to do it. That is to register citizens. Unfortunately, we're caught up with a pandemic, which till date we are all grappling with across the world. I think we are even doing better than some of the so-called superpowers. Why are we having this conversation now? Because of accusations or allegations being leveled against the NIA. And it's gotten to a level where it's even being personalized, and the integrity and the person of the NIA boss is being brought into question. At the time that they got into, I think they only had 1 week left in Eastern region to wrap up when the directives came. And to my best of knowledge, they tried their best to put in measures. I mean, when some of these things start, out of fear, people will say a lot of things. Out of concern, people will raise a lot of questions. But I don't think the NIA set out just to expose people and their staff to the virus. So I think all these allegations of NIA wanting to rig elections, NIA trying to put people in harm's way, I think sometimes we need to understand the institutional arrangements before we come out to make some of these allegations. And I won't sit here to try to assume I understand, but for anybody who has built a certain level of integrity and a certain level of status, I don't think they'll sit down idle if that hard-earned reputation is being dragged in the mud.
But we saw reports and videos, even right here at City, some of the workers shared the experience with us of not having hand sanitizers, even though they were promised hand sanitizers, being afraid for their own safety, not having enough chairs to actually space people out. We saw pictures of people sitting on benches. Are those still allegations or first-hand experience by the workers?
What I know is I also saw at a point centers that social distancing was being practiced, and centers where they had protective clothing, they had thermometers and all that. So, but we know that some of these things happen gradually. It's a process.
But when you have a pandemic, should you follow processes?
Well,
or should you just flat out close what you're doing?
I think even with the pandemic, I don't think we are expanding without the due processes. We may have to facilitate the process. If it's maybe probably 5 days, cut down on it, but not throw rules and regulations out just because there's a pandemic. Then we will end up having a greater issue on our hand at the end of this. I don't think even at City TV as an organization, you just get up and do anything, or you just come and sit in the studio because there's a pandemic. You still follow the right regulations. So I also saw some, I mean, everybody has cause to worry because this is something that we all don't know about. People had to worry about their safety, but at the end of the day, was it done? At the end of the day, when the situation was analyzed and it was realized that no, this will not be in the interest of citizens and the people who are at work, they withdrew. So sometimes I think we just need to give people the benefits of the doubt to do what they've set out to do rather than just throwing out. Because sometimes you even go out and check and realize that some of the videos and some of the pictures even dates back like 5 years and all that. So we just need to be careful. We are not in normal times. It's a difficult situation, but we also need to give the people that we've entrusted with duty a certain level of confidence.
Thank you very much. Abigail.
I would like to clarify something. I think that when I was speaking, I said here that the death rate, comparing Ghana to other countries, we have done well. And everybody heard it. What I said we have lost is the battle on containment, which everybody agrees with, that as a country we have lost that battle.
Why do you say that?
Oh, it is clear. We were in this country when they came to tell us that we had peaked. If you peak, you don't still go out.
Well, they said if we're able to maintain all the protocols,
everything that is happening around the world, when they say a country has peaked, we realize that now their graph starts coming down, and then at some point it flattens. We have not gotten there yet.
Because they told us that
so
we
when
will get there
a
once we
spokesperson of government comes to tell us that we have peaked, are they telling us the truth or they are lying to us?
Okay, you continue.
You understand? So I have not sat on this, your station, and said that we have lost the battle. In any case, even if I said we have lost the battle, is it not clear? Is it not clear? Because we are even refusing. At this point, we know that government or its agents have said that there's not going to be lockdowns because lockdowns are sort of financial in nature and it's going to affect the economy, blah, blah, blah. So we are not going to lock down, even when we know that this place is a hotspot, seriously, and if we lock that place down, it's going to solve a lot of problems.
I need to bring you back to NIA.
So for me, if she wants to say that I have said we have lost the battle.
You've clarified
well, it's her thinking, and she can take it like that.
Thank you very much.
I think that when we come on such shows and we are discussing, we should take personalities out and deal with issues rather than attack personalities.
Okay.
I don't think I've sat here to say anything against it. All right. Now, NIA, it's funny because you see, they actually went to court to defend what they are doing. So for the U-turn right now by the boss, I don't see anything. I can't even think about what he's saying. I'm seriously not able to think through and say that, oh, he did this, he has done, because you see, we all realized that the disease had come, the virus had come, sorry. Government was putting in measures and they had asked that social distancing, lockdown, blah, 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 and all those things. Then, as an institution under government, you decide that you are still going to go ahead and register people. And like you said, we all saw videos where people were put in churches, videos where people were sitting on chairs that had not been socially distant. As to whether even when somebody stands up from the chair is sanitized before another person sits on it, it's another issue. This is a situation where even the officers themselves were telling us that they didn't have the sanitizers. So you were exposing your own workers and you were exposing Ghanaians as well. So what is he talking about? What integrity are we talking about here? Hasn't he lost it already? Sometimes, you see, I wish that just like other countries, their leaders, I feel that maybe somewhere like the UK, they are managing their situation the way they are because he has felt it. He has felt the virus. So he knows what it is. So when he is taking any measures, he takes the measures based on what he felt when he was in that condition. So he knows that if a different person is also going through that same thing, he will be feeling what he felt. So maybe they should also go through it. If they go through it, they will understand what people are going through. You understand? Because they are able to stay in their homes, they are able to protect themselves, and the ordinary woman on the market. There was a time I watched another video where the market at I think one of the markets here, your people took a video around 10 p.m. And when you saw what was happening, I saw what was happening, then I said, oh God, we are finished.
Yeah, that's when we lifted the partial lockdown ban.
Yes, we are finished. Because if the market women themselves cannot, you see, it all comes down to the fact that they don't understand what is really happening.
But then if we're able to, abide by social protocols and, social distancing, then maybe we can still get our Ghana cards and everything.
How are you going to do that in the market?
Okay.
You say we should observe social distance. Look at how our markets are crowded, even on a normal day.
Well, some people are recommending, shift systems. So people come in the morning, other people come in the afternoon.
So why has it not been done?
It's being done in some places, in NEMA, for instance.
And then what is the proof to show? We were in this country when they went to bring a picture from, what's the name? India, to come and show us that it is Takrady market.
Okay.
So you see, the point is that government from day one has not been truthful to Ghanaians. They have not told us the actual situation. So you see, where there is space, people will feel it. When you leave out issues and you don't let people know actually what is happening, I'll fill in the space. I'll try to, so if this is this, then what is happening? I'll draw my own conclusions.
Okay.
But if you tell me the truth and let me know that, this disease, this is how it is, this is how it is, this is how it is, and if you don't take care of yourself, this is what will happen to you, then obviously you have told me what to do. She was talking about president addressing us 9 times. At 9 p.m., at 10 p.m. Sometimes they will tell you 8 p.m., it will change to 9 p.m.
Okay.
How many people stay up to watch?
Okay.
That is why NCCE has a job to do.
Okay. Please
so government should equip NCCE to go and do their job.
Okay.
And then NI should not come and tell us that they did the right thing. In fact, they were taken to court before they stopped what they were doing. So they can't come and tell us what they are telling us now.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll take a look at our next story. It has to do with education. And I'm reading from citynewsroom.com. It says here, COVID-19, reopening schools will put teachers, students at risk. It's coming from PTA and SMC. The Parent Teacher Association and school management committees have advised against the reopening of schools in the wake of a surge in COVID-19 cases in Ghana. The COOP, at a stakeholder consultation, pointed out that it would not be advisable to reopen schools now, as lives of teachers, students, and other school workers may be put at risk due to the difficulty in maintaining school social distancing. So I'm going to quote what the executive director of Africa Watch, Kofi Asare, said. In the midst of an increasing community spread, it is not advisable to consider reopening schools, as lives of teachers, students, and other school workers may be put at risk due to the difficulty in maintaining social distance at school and water, sanitation, hygiene, logistics constraints in the school. The GES should not advise the government to reopen schools now. So I'll start with you on this topic, because you've heard a lot of educators, you know, advocating for schools to be open because they are not being paid right now, and saying they may be able to respect the social distancing and everything.
Before I even address the bit about reopening of schools, I just think the issue of the containment should be addressed.
Briefly.
Yes, briefly, because with the closure of the borders, now we know most of the cases are community infections, local. But if she has been flowing, the number of regions recording new cases keeps dropping. I don't know whether she's been following. And even with the markets, I remember at a point, Medina markets was closed because they were not observing social distancing.
I need you to wrap up on this so that you can touch on the school.
With some of these things, I just think they should calm down and follow what is being happening and just not assume that nothing's there. A lot is going on. People are breaking their backs to make sure we get out of there, and they need to be appreciated. Not what we are doing now. With schools reopening, these issues are coming up because the GES is asking stakeholders for proposals, and I think that's something we need to comment. That should tell us that nobody just gets up and throws out a directive or throws out a new instruction for people just to follow. We are in this together, parents, teachers, students. I will even be happy if we have some student bodies also coming out with proposals to advise on how, because at a point in time, schools have been closed since March the 15th. At a point in time, we will have to find a way to still live if we still can find a headway with getting the virus out. So if these proposals have been asked, and I must emphasize that these proposals are good ones, and I'm sure with the TEMA GES haven't come out to ask for these things. I'm sure they will consider all these proposals and make sure whatever directive is given is in the best interest of all stakeholders.
Thank you very much. Abigail, briefly on this school topic, and then we'll move to our last story.
I think that we've not gotten there yet.
Okay.
Just like the teachers and the parents are saying, I think that at this point, if you reopen schools and you ask me to take my child to school, I won't do it. Because I want to protect my child. So I won't do it. So for me, I think that the parents, the teachers, I side with them. We have not done much to show that we are ready to get back to school. And kids are such that when they are in school, you can try to control them, but you can't do it the way to stop the virus. We've seen videos where students from China are going to school where they are sanitized with machines and all that before they wash their hands. Are we ready with that? Are we going to do that? we've also read where a country like France has asked students to go to school, where they've recorded a lot of cases because of that reopening. You understand? So I think that as a country, we have not gotten there yet. We are not ready to reopen schools for our children to get infected. Once a child gets infected and he comes home, your child is coming back from school. You can't say that you won't clean your child, you won't welcome your child home, you won't give your child food and all that. And the child will not be able to tell you that I have caught the virus. Yeah. You understand? Okay. So I think that we are not ready.
Okay.
We are not ready for it.
Thank you very much. We'll take a look at our final story now, reading from citynewsroom.com. And it says here, Major Boachijan questioned by CID over alleged comments made against the EC. So Major retired Kwadwo Boachijan has been questioned by officials of the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service at his residence on Tuesday for comments he made about the EC on a radio program. So in the said interview, he said the rumpus surrounding the compilation of a new voters register could plunge Ghana into chaos. City news sources indicates that Major Boachijan failed to honor an early invitation by the police due to health issues. Subsequently, police officers visited him for preliminary questioning. According to the police, they chose to formally question him today at his home due to his health conditions. So your thoughts on what has happened to Major Boachijan as a result of comments made about the EC and how, you know, the whole voter register could plunge Ghana into chaos?
I'm happy you read, he said code. So it means that he was only giving out a caution that if this is not done, if this is done, if this is done, if this is done, it could lead us to this situation, which in fact we have seen in countries across, even in our neighbor, what's the Cote d'Ivoire? Cote d'Ivoire here, just here, some time ago, was in this mess. You understand? And elections issues are such that they can create any problem for a country. They can create civil wars like what Major Boachijan said. So if somebody expresses an opinion or is interviewed on an issue and the person expresses an opinion and then the person is called by the police, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to gag people from speaking? It looks like that is what is happening, because in this country now, it looks like you can't speak your mind. When you speak your mind, they'll come and pick you up and then go and question you. So the next time you decide that, oh, even if the thing is going bad, even if the thing is getting destroyed, I'm not going to speak about it. But would that help the country? It won't help the country. That is why we have a democracy where people can say what is really on their mind, where journalists can report what is happening across the country. But if we have a situation where somebody will go and say something on radio, and then all of a sudden it has become a matter for the police to call and then go and investigate or go and, I don't know what they really want to do with Major Boachijan.
Thank you.
But we think that my party has issued a statement this morning, and we think that it is in a very bad taste for the police, which works under the government anyway, to take this step. In fact, it is going to rather create fear and panic among people than what they have done.
Thank you
it
very
is
much.
rather going to increase what people, the perception people have about the EC, and what we said some time ago, that the EC, the NIA, and the government are in bed to rig these elections.
Thank you very much.
You have, before I go on,
we have 2 minutes.
Yes, I have 2 minutes. I'll use it well. But I just want to let us understand that GES hasn't said they are going to reopen schools tomorrow. In every establishment, you need to plan. So they are taking proposals to inform them of the next step. GES is not going to, hasn't said they are opening schools tomorrow. With Major retired Boachijan. I just think that we have a history as a country, and when people of his caliber make certain statements, I don't think they should just be taken on the face value. And I also don't think that my sister has been here sitting down talking for close to an hour, and she's talking about people being gagged. I'm sure there are a number of people across the nation saying same. Nobody is gagging anybody. I mean, for a president who has seen to the person of the right to information and all this, I don't think we should be using such adjectives when we are talking. I mean, this is someone who has a history. Some of us have read, some people have experienced. It's not like anybody just got up, handcuffed him, Rambo style or anything to question him. They actually gave him his due as a citizen who is not well and went to his house to question him. I think it's procedure. We need to be very careful how we sensationalize some of these things. This is Major Boachijan. This is someone who has a history. This is someone who probably has a certain level of following.
But he still has his freedom of speech, right?
Yes, he does, and nobody is gagging him from saying. But we need to understand what does he know that makes him think that this country could be launched into chaos. We need to understand if the security outfits need to take certain steps, they'll do it. I don't think we should sensationalize some of these things.
Thank you very much. Laratu Musa Saka is a member of the NPP National Communications Team, and of course, Abigail Elo Mensah is the Deputy National Women's Organizer of the NDC. Don't go anywhere. Up next, we'll be talking to Philip Kofi Ashong about all things consumer technology. We'll be right back.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady, and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
$76,000 only to buy you a studio apartment in Accra. Why not come to Wadi for a spacious 2-bedroom apartment at Alphabet City, our brand new gated community situated right on top of the serene Sakomano Lagoon, feeling like splashing a little. Check out our exclusive all-detached house gated community with Jaden Symphonic next door. Sizes range from cozy 3 bedrooms to luxurious 5 bedrooms. We at Wadi are committed to provide you with the best building quality and value for money. In fact, we are the proud recipient of 2019's Quality Property Firm Award. We are offering discount up to 5% on Linjadin Symphony or 10% on Alphabet City, who makes a commitment in December. Call us now at 0240-111119 or 0504-499999 to secure your dream home now.
Ghana is a beautiful country. There is so much of it you probably haven't seen, haven't experienced, haven't touched, haven't felt, haven't eaten. When this is all over, let's discover our land again with new eyes. Let's feel each other again. We are one people, brought together by destiny. Let's make that count. Let's show love for each other and our environment. Let's tell our stories, and let's watch and listen to our stories. There will be so much to tell. Ghana is a truly beautiful country. Be Ghana, stay in Ghana, experience Ghana, and we will Ghana Later campaign. This channel supports the campaign.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subjects you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act, only on City TV.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you. 30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
I'm gonna travel far from this place, far from your judgments, won't be a disgrace. I'll take the highway straight into the sea. Let my soul be happy and free. Just let me be. I plead. Just let me be. I plead. Just let me be. I plead. So, Daddy, I beg you, just let me be me. As the years go, drifting away, I come to realize that I'm not okay. I can't keep up, no, I can't go this way. All of the lies are ending today. Just let me be. I plead. Just let me be. I plead. Just let me be. I plead. So, Daddy, I beg you, just Just let me be me. Just let me be me. Just let me be. I plead. So, Daddy, I beg you, just let me be me.
There are those with untold stories, unraveled feats, life-changing stories, and lasting legacies. They tell their stories themselves right here on Footprints.
So we go to someone who will put in our various cells, and then someone you have it's a huge prison. And then it was then that it dawned on me that I was really in big trouble.
Do you think that the overthrow of Liman was justified?
I think that with hindsight, there was no justification.
Be inspired by their hard work and resilience that led to those outstanding achievements as we trace their footsteps through the capsule of time.
Because of my upbringing, my mother, my father, they are, Christianity.
Yeah.
So because of that,
strong hands at home.
Even though I'm the guy smoking, doing all kinds of that, I've never tried.
You've never tried?
No, never tried weed or anything. Nothing.
You've never tried weed?
Even drinking, alcohol, no.
Why should you people put everything, everything was done before Nkrumah arrived in the country.
No, aho ni leba ye.
Aho neba ye.
So join me, Samuel Atamensa, and my guests every Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. only on City TV.
Footprint is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
All right, welcome back. It's time for us to talk tech and consumer tech segment. We have Philip Ashong as usual. He is the head of TV production here at City TV and also the host of City Trends on City 97.3 FM. This morning we're going to try and understand the details of how to better store your photos and your pictures. Your photos and your videos. The world is becoming more techy, and we are relying less and less on professional photographers and doing our own thing. You can lose your stuff. You don't want to lose your stuff. Philip, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. And yeah, that's a lovely premise to start on, not losing your stuff. And I'm sure a lot of people have gotten to that point where they were ready to take a picture and they don't have any space.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't really understand where the space has gone.
Yeah.
But it's a number of factors that come together.
So I just took two pictures. The space is gone.
The space is gone. It's a number of factors that come together. And I would just like to start from a point and then get to some of the other details. Now, with every machine, you require a space where the machine will keep some things.
Yeah.
So on a computer, you typically have a hard drive where it will keep all your materials that you want to store.
Yeah.
The same thing with a mobile phone. Now that is why when you're going to buy a mobile phone, they offer you in sizes of 16 gig, 256, 512, etc., etc. Now you need more storage to store more things. That's the typical logic line. So if you don't have a lot of storage space, you should be aware that there will come a point where you will not have a lot of space to store your pictures or your videos. Now, clearly, when you're shooting video, it takes up more space as against pictures. So the more videos you take, the more space it takes. Therefore, you should be mindful of that. So we've gotten to that point where, you know, you've seen the limit, you've gotten to your limit, you don't know what to do. Okay, now a few things we need to explain before we get to that point. We're going to put up a little note on the screen there that shows you the different file formats available. So you typically have JPEG, which is what everybody knows, Joint Photographic Experts Group. Basically, that's what it means. We have PNG. We have GIF or GIF. We have TIFF, which is also a file format. We have PSD, we have PDF, which a lot of people know. We have EPS, we have AI, we have INDD, and we have RAW. Now, for the purposes of today's conversation, I'll be speaking mostly about RAW, which is number 10, and then number 1, which is JPEG. PNG also comes in at one point in time or the other. But basically, RAW and JPEG are the two most common formats that, you know, mobile phones store images for most people. Now, the thing about the raw images is, the raw images basically means that the file is not compressed in any way. So the individual elements, the colors and things like that can be manipulated, you know, based on whoever is doing the editing. So you take a picture, you want to increase the red, increase the yellow, you know, and those other details. Or the picture is overexposed, it's underexposed. When you take a raw picture, what you basically have is the ability to change a lot of those details. When you take a JPEG picture, it's a compressed file. What it means is that a lot of the things have already been baked already. So you can't really manipulate
so
too
the
much.
camera has basically decided for you
what it's supposed to be.
What the final thing should look like.
So everything has been baked into one. So when you have the raw, clearly, since the details are so many, it takes up more space. As against JPEG, which is already compressed. So you need to bear that in mind as well. So one of the things that I always ask people to do is check on your phone. Are you taking pictures in RAW or are you taking pictures in JPEG? If you're taking pictures in RAW, just know that it is consuming more space. So that's one of the first things that I need people to understand. Check your phone. Are you taking pictures in RAW? Are you taking pictures in JPEG? If you are taking pictures in RAW, just know that you have to get a phone with a bigger capacity to take more pictures. If it's in JPEG, you can kind of manage. So let's say whichever one it is, you've gotten to that point, oh my God, I've run out of space. The sunset is there in the distance. I need to do something real quick.
Golden hour.
One of the first things you need to do is to delete old material. So you typically go into your phone and look through it and pick out what you want. But in the situation where you have a bit of time on your hands, what do? You know when you've gotten to that point when your phone doesn't have enough space. What do you do? The first and most important, the easiest thing is to transfer it onto a computer or onto an external hard drive. Now, I brought these cables to demonstrate phones. So that's what you have. And then you have, for the newer brand of phones, the USB-C. You know, so typically these are the three that most people would have, you know, connecting to any mobile device whatsoever. It can be Android or it can be iPhone. Now, once you have these, you basically connect it to the phone, connect the other half to the computer, and then you can do the transfer. On most Windows machines, it will pop up as internal storage or as sort of seeing it as a hard drive. You enter it. Now, when you enter it, you go into the digital camera image folder, the DCIM. I'm sure most people have seen it. This is the default place where most pictures are kept.
Stored,
So when you go to the DCIM folder, you will most likely will find all the pictures on your phone. When you get into that folder, just basically copy everything and transfer it to the external hard drive or to your computer. Then you know at least you're saved. For most people who use iPhones, we've gotten to this point where iTunes has sort of been done away with, and we have three new apps, which is podcasts, music, and then TV Plus. Now, what Apple has done now is that when you connect your phone using the lightning cable to your Mac or your MacBook or whichever one it is, you go to Finder. When you go to Finder, you will find your phone label there. You will find your phone in the set of options available. There's the option to also connect using Wi-Fi, but then it has its limitations. The most stable form of transferring anything is by using the cable, connecting it directly to the computer, and then working out the details. So that's one way to transfer your file. So once you've done this, it's most likely, whether it's an Android or an iOS or a Windows phone or whichever phone you use, once you connect it to a computer, that's one of the surest ways to transfer your pictures or your videos. The second way is by using cloud-based backup options, which I'm sure a lot of people probably have run into one way or the other. So we have everything from iCloud to Google Photos to Dropbox, all these options available online. However, there are a few limitations to all of them. For example, iCloud. iCloud will give you a maximum of about 5 gig free storage space. All the rest you have to buy. I mean, relatively, it's not necessarily too expensive if you want to buy more space, but then it's something that you need to buy regardless. So if you have an iPhone, you will get initially 5 gig of storage space free, but then if you typically take more pictures and more videos, you would have to buy the extra space, so it's uploaded automatically, or you decide when to do it through Wi-Fi. One of the most consistent and most stable platforms for storing images for me personally, though, is the Google Photos app. It comes standard, or it comes by default with most Android devices, but then if you use an iPhone or any other devices, most likely you have to download the app separately. I like it because it gives you unlimited space. Now, unlimited space with a caveat. Good. Now, if you are storing high-resolution photos, for example, a lot of pictures in RAW, or you are working on a number of images, and the pictures or the image file is very big, it will have to reduce the size. If you don't want it reduced, then that means that your unlimited will be cut down to 15 gig. If you want to still save in the big format. Now, if you cut it down to 15 gig, it means all other add-ons that you do must be paid for. So it's kind of a choice. You know, you have to make a choice. Whether you go with unlimited version, which will obviously reduce the file format once it goes beyond a certain threshold, or you know, you just basically pay for the space. I mean, you have other options like Dropbox and things like that. Once you download Dropbox, you can indicate
Dropbox. I enjoy that.
A lot of the time, it does this automatically. Also is one very important thing. I mean, sometimes, you know, you're in a hurry, the sun is setting, or, you know, you're at a wedding, or you're at, you know, some funeral or something, you want to take a quick picture, you don't have space. With Google Photos app, you really don't need to think too much about it. You just delete it, take the picture, because you can always go back into your Google Photos on the web and download from there, and you're good to go. So, I mean, it has its own advantages. One of the other options is also connecting a removable disk or a removable media onto your phone. This does obviously not work with iPhones because there's no way you can insert, you know, a removable media. But then for most other devices, Samsung and all these other devices, you have a slot where you can put a memory card, you know, whichever capacity that you are able to find, and then you put all your photos there, and you can delete it from the main phone, so the phone can have enough space to do what it wants to do. So that's one of the things. The last option that I think is available for most people is social media.
How?
It's social media or email sharing. So basically, you have a ton of pictures. You can create a gallery on your Facebook or whichever, upload all your pictures there and delete it from your phone. Thing is, it's always available there anyway. And you also determine who you want to share it with. You can choose not to share your pictures with anybody, and it just sits on your Facebook. It's there. You know, it might take a bit of time to upload there, but at least you know your pictures are safe. You know, so these 4 options for me are the best options that I personally can think about if you want to save your pictures and your photos. The social media one is not too popular for most people, but I think that for that, what you basically have is basically it's being available everywhere you go on a platform that you're very, very comfortable with. I don't know how exactly you're going to do it with, for example, IG you know, or something. But Facebook offers you a very, very good space for you to basically upload all your pictures into a gallery, restrict the people who can have access to it, and you're pretty much good to go. If you went for a holiday, if you went for a wedding, you can just basically put all the pictures that you took with your friends into a gallery on Facebook and delete it from your phone, and you're good to go.
It's fantastic. I like that. I think I have pictures from as far back as 12 years ago, still on Facebook.
And you can just create a gallery and then you're good to go.
Thank you very much, Philip. Kofi Estrong has been giving us the lowdown, basically, how to store your pictures and make sure that you don't lose any picture ever again. Up next, we have Hello, Mr. President. It's a new segment that we're introducing. We're going to go a really interesting segment. We've got a lot of things happening where people are asking the president to do this and do that and so on. We'll be presenting that real soon. But before we do that, let's take a look at the entertainment highlights.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwame. Ghanaian dancehall artist Stonebwoy has called on the government to support the creative arts industry by ensuring there are proper systems that support their revenue generation. Speaking to the Information Minister Kojo Opono Nkrumah in a live Instagram chat, Stonebwoy pointed that life has not been easy for creatives in Ghana because of the poor systems and structures.
Taking the digital distributing seriously, yes, that is one of the main points that I was going to ask, that we help, or the government helps for us to be able to digitally see what is going on, and even pay per play and all these ones like it's happening in the other parts of the world. So you're right, we have to take it serious, but there are no machinery in place, neither is the system well positioned or transparent for us as younger ones to be able to digitally monetize what is even going on, to even be able to get revenues that is equated to what it is out of. So that's sorry to interrupt.
No. So I think we are both agreeing that one of the things that maybe government and you, the players, should do is to work more on strengthening the digital platforms so that people will not just even have Ghana alone as a market, but now it's a global market, and for everybody who's downloading one of your tracks, etc. You know, whether it's 50 cents or $2 or whatever that is coming in.
He also requested that anytime there's a stakeholder meeting with creatives, young musicians are also invited. According to Stonebwoy, the younger generation of musicians has not been involved in activities of the sector because they don't see it attractive. The Chief Executive Officer of Roughtown Records, Ricky Nana Ajiman, known in the music circles as Bullet, has attributed signee to his label Fantana's recent behavior to the sudden fame she enjoyed not too long ago after breaking into the Ghanaian music scene. According to him, the fame has gotten into Fantana's head, and that is why she is behaving the way she is, bent on tarnishing the hard-earned reputation of the label. He made the statement in an interview on Happy FM. Bullet mentioned that if Fantana had a problem with someone on the label, she could have best resolved the issue in a private manner and not destroy the image of her colleague and that of the record label. He reiterated that he made Fantana who she is now a household name in the country, and that fame has gotten into her head, and that's why she's behaving this badly. Fantana and Wendy Shea have been beefing over the past few days, with the two ladies going hard on each other. And that's all for Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Day. My name is Ato Kwame.
Pay app. More social, more power, more services. Experience a cooler way of payments with exciting new features. Want to go social? Upload a cool image to add a personal feel to your account. Payments are even more seamless with an enhanced process. Mark some accounts as favorites so they are super easy to access. Even cooler, view payment due dates and check remaining balances for your favorite accounts. Want to repeat a payment? Do that right from the History tab. Have all your money in one place with a sleek look and feel. Bank Direct has had an awesome makeover. You can now send money instantly to 22 banks and counting. Express Pay. Payments simplified.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. City TV, it's your world.
All right, welcome back. It is Breakfast Daily on City TV. And earlier this week, we asked you to submit a 1-minute video or a 250-word letter addressing the president on issues that you're facing in your communities. And a lot of you have submitted your videos and letters. So we'll be reading them out to the president. Hopefully he answers them as well. So we'll take a look at some of the messages you brought in. And throughout the segment, if you guys at home also have some experiences you want to share with us, do use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585-8324 for us to hear from you. And if you're outside Ghana and you still want to address the president, please use the country code +233. So we take a look at some of the messages we received from our viewers.
All right. All right, so Jerry Justice says here, hello, Mr. President. My name is Jerry Justice. I used to work with one of the 3-star hotels in Cape Coast. My appointment was terminated due to COVID-19 pandemic. Just like me, there were others also who lost their jobs. Before they terminated our appointment, they did not inform us. Secondly, they didn't give us any benefits that suit our termination. My problem is that the president should put in place a law to deal with the companies that terminate the appointment of their staff, especially those in the hospitality industry, without prior notice. The government should come to our aid at this trying time of our lives. That's to Mr. President. From Jerry Justice. We also have another one here. Hello, Mr. President. I am Collins. I must commend you and your team on the measures you have put in place to manage the spread of COVID-19, which the World Health Organization has described as a pandemic. You have indeed demonstrated great concern and compassion about the health of the citizenry, and I am much impressed about the results of the number of recoveries of those infected as reported. However, I have a great concern about the issue of unemployment in our nation. Even before the outbreak of COVID-19, there were a number of people living in this country without jobs. And now, the COVID-19 virus has rendered a lot of people unemployed, a lot more people unemployed. Those who managed to start their own businesses have been badly affected due to the continuous spread of the disease, and they are forced to shut down or resort to operate from home. Most industries, especially the tourism and education sector, have been hard hit, and they have had to lay off their workers as a result of that. The effect of this action has made life difficult for these workers economically, and also the government might be losing revenue from the income and corporate taxes respectively. So my question to you, Mr. President, is that what measures are you putting in place to create employment for all these people? If life must continue, then we need to work to earn a living. Thank you.
So I think we should take the first two and then we'll continue with the rest of the messages we've received from you. And as I was listening to you read out Jerry's experience, Jerry Justice's experience, what I have in mind, I'm thinking is perhaps the government should have instituted some sort of process for employees to abide by. We know that we are in a pandemic, especially those in the hospitality industry. There's no money coming in. We've asked drinking pubs to close down. We've asked nightclubs to close down. A lot of these places were, you know, a place of source of income for a lot of Ghanaians. So if they're going to close down, obviously there's no money coming in. They can't pay their employees. But the process of, you know, letting someone go could have been regulated a bit, you know. So perhaps if we had some sort of funding for businesses to say, okay, at least for 2-3 months, you can give your employees a certain amount of money so that they are not out there struggling, they are not out dry. It helps a little bit because, as you can see in the write-up from Jerry's experience, they are home. You know, he says, I used to work with one of the 3-star hotels in Cape Coast. How is he supposed to survive now? You know, we are protecting ourselves against COVID-19, but he has his family to take care of. Before the termination of our appointment, their employees didn't even inform them. What's the kind of protection we have for employees? Can employers just wake up one day and sack everyone to go home? And how are they going to get back from that? So for me, on behalf of Jerry and all the unemployed people in the tourism sector, I think the NBSSI should have a special, you know, place for companies, especially those within the tourism industry, and also encourage more people to perhaps bring their employees back, you know, so that some of the process of getting that package, the soft loans, will be tied into employing people. So if we see that you're going to employ your former employees back, you're going to give them something so that we are not burdening our economy with more unemployed people.
Yeah, and just to add to what you said as well, there's also the stimulus and revitalization package that is being put together. I think it's a good 1 point something billion Ghana cedis. Yeah. You know, apart from the 600 million, you know, I think it's more 3 billion. I think, you know, that is supposed to be injected as a stimulus package for industries. You know, so I guess if they're in the hospitality industry, then it's a part of it. You know, so at the end of the day, these monies have been, they've mentioned that they are available, right? So let's see, Mr. President, your people are speaking to you. Let's, you know, come out and let us know exactly how, apart from what the NBSSI is doing, what the stimulus package, how it's going to be distributed, who can apply, who qualifies, so that we can begin to stimulate, you know, the economy for all these people. Jerry Justice said his, but also the next one also came from Collins, and Collins was also concerned about the fact that even when you think about the loss of revenue, as well as, you know, even government taxes and all of that, you can't even, you as a government, you also not even make any money if the businesses are also not making money.
Yeah.
So these are some of the concerns so far.
Yeah, so to Jerry and Collins, the great news is starting today, the stimulus package applications are available. So the 1 billion Ghana cedis that the government is making available to small businesses, you can apply. And the portal is, I'm going to tell you, the NBSSI portal in a minute, where you can go to actually apply. It's www.nbssi.gov.gh. So in as much as we're also encouraging the NBSSI to have a place for SMEs, I think we should also encourage our employers that these are the opportunities we found for us to get back on our feet. Let's follow the entire process. Let's get that money, because that's what government is doing to help us. But I do think that the president should address the process of laying off workers as a result of this COVID-19, and perhaps some sort of packages for employees so that they are not out dry struggling.
Yeah, we also heard from Kwabena. Kwabena says, hello, Mr. President. My name is Kwabena. He says, I'm a resident of TEMA Community 25. There is a pub at Community 25 Junction called Mr. Blinks, just behind the Goodness Filling Station. This pub is in full operation despite the directive on the ban on social gathering. Today, the cars parked at the pub are even half the number. You might as well have checked them out on Friday night. So, Mr. President, this Kwabena is telling you that your national security apparatus needs to be activated, to a much higher level of sensitivity if they are not aware of all these things that are happening. TEMA Community 5 Junction, I think it's a very important, and I like the fact that you've brought this in to the notice of the president, because he's handling so many things, and it can easily slip. The police are overstretched, national security is stretched. So somebody in their corner may be misbehaving. It's important for us as citizens to bring these things to light, so that it's dealt with. Because it's true. Look, Kona, you and I have to make sure that we win this fight. If some people are misbehaving, we've got to out them, and thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yes, and I remember last week Honorable Sam George was here on Breakfast Daily, and he said something that the probability of a drunkard spreading COVID-19 is higher than the probability of someone in church or in another religious institution. So if we are walking in to close down churches, we are closing down mosques. When people, want to worship illegally, we close them down. Then we need to be even more vigilant when it comes to places where, people go to drink. Because when you are drinking, you are not really, you're under the influence. That's not the time where you're going to think, let me wash my hands with running water and soap. Let me respect social distancing. Half of the time, you don't remember what you did when you were drunk. So I think to the policemen and women of this country, we know that you are tired, you have so much to do, but we need to ensure that these places are closed. If one person has the virus and they are drunk and they begin to act out, people will come in to help them. And again, a lot of us who are positive are asymptomatic. So they will spread that thing like wildfire. These people at the drinking pub will go back to their homes and spread it to their families, and it will keep on going. So accountability is key. It's one thing to say that the pubs should be closed, and another thing to ensure that they are actually closed. So I look forward to coming back next week on Wednesday and reporting that that pub has been closed because our authorities are listening. And Kwabena will not have to see people still drinking in spite of the danger that we're dealing with.
Yeah, and we'd like to call on the owners and managers of Mr. Blinks. Kindly do the right thing. It's very important. All right, Marvin sends a message here. He says, hello, Mr. President. I am Marvin. I humbly plead with you to help all those who have lost their jobs due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's a cry in the same direction as most of the people who have sent the messages this morning. And Marvin, Mr. President is listening, and he will respond. As he's already instituted certain things in place. Chifa mentioned earlier on the 1 billion Ghana CD stimulus package, as well as the 600 million money from the NBSSI that they're going to distribute to SMEs as well. So different people are going to benefit from this, and we trust that this is going to help to stimulate the economy and to help our businesses stand.
Yes, and what I don't want to see happening with this package is kind of how we were all happy when we heard about NEIP. A lot of entrepreneurs were excited, and then somewhere down the line, people didn't really know how they were going about distribution of funds and everything else. The government will promise us that they'll be transparent, but we have to hold them accountable. So if every business applies for this fund and people still are not called back, we can't track the beneficiaries, then we have a case to make that you asked us to apply for this package. We've applied. Our employees are still home because there's nothing, that we don't have any revenue in to sustain them, and we can't engage them. Then we can hold the government accountable. I've said this many times and I'll say it again. We may survive the health impact of COVID-19, but the economic impact, as most of us are experiencing right now, will be very deadly. So it's important for the government to begin to see that, put names to these industries, right? Collins is in this industry. All these people are in these industries, and they exist. They are breadwinners of their families. They need that 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 cedis they were making monthly to take care of their families. And we don't have the kind of social services that can take care of the unemployed amongst us. So we need everyone back at work. And we get there by ensuring that we are giving the monies to the right businesses who are going to employ the right people in the country.
Yes, so just remember, send a short video of yourself, 60 seconds, all right, and then email it to hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com, all right? And the WhatsApp line, as you know, is 055-058-5832. All right, it's the WhatsApp line to send the videos to. But we prefer you to send them to the email. Give us a higher resolution for the sake of TV. And if you happen to be outside Ghana, you want to send the video as well, add +233 if you want to send that via WhatsApp. All right, so it's very important. And you can also write to us as well, but make sure that it's not more than 250 words. Okay, whatever your issue is to Mr. President, make sure it's not more than 250 words long. And the video should not be more than 60 seconds.
Definitely, and if you're home like Jerry and Collins and you would want to share your experiences with us, let us know with the hashtag #BreakfastDaily. Right? Have you lost your job? Did your employer handle it better than Collins? We know that last week we went to Circle and the restaurants shared with us how they went about it. Instead of firing everybody or firing majority of their staff, they employed a shift system. So people will work 2 days out of the week instead of 5 days. They are spreading the wealth. So they are keeping in mind that these are human beings. Beyond just being an employee, they are human beings. So maybe you can share some of these experiences with employers who are watching us today and are contemplating, should I get rid of my employees right now? They can learn from that experience to find out ways to make the entire process better, because we do have to survive post-COVID-19.
Yeah, Jafar, some messages have also come by Facebook, and so our Facebook viewers are watching and are also commenting and sending in messages. Idrisu Abdullah says, City TV, please tell Mr. President that NAPCO trainees need permanent employment. Hashtag make NAPCO permanent, Mr. President. All right, so that's the concern of, I'm sure Idrisu Abdullah is a NAPCO personnel himself, or at least knows somebody who is, and it's an issue of concern.
Yeah, and I think on the NAPCO case, right, this is even one more reason why we need the private sector to work well, because when you look at the way we've handled employment in this country in the past, we always depend on government to provide jobs for us. The reality is, majority of the employment in the private sector happens in the informal sector. We can't really track it. So this is a great opportunity for government to begin saying, okay, we're going to create jobs, but we're going to empower the private sector to do that. We can't do what we did with 100 jobs. You know, we go to Black Star Square, we have a big hoopla, and then we can't trace it, right? We need to empower the private sector enough, because the public sector has enough on their hands. They are dealing with COVID-19. They are trying to keep us safe. This is the opportunity for private sector to begin to rise up so that we don't depend on imports like we've done in the past. We can boast of a lot more, Ghanaian-owned businesses scaling up to, across the continent and creating jobs while we are at it from this pandemic. And I'm glad a lot more employees are speaking up. It will be good to hear from the experiences of the employers as well. With this whole stimulus package that has been launched today, what are you expecting of NBSSI and the government as a whole? How do you ensure that they are going to give you your package and everything else they've said you are going to do? You have about 2 years to pay back those soft loans. Whatever it is that you want to ask the president, this is your opportunity. So don't forget to email us directly at hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com and we'll ask him for you.
Yeah. Commander Emmanuel is saying here, he says, you people should talk to Ghanaians to understand you. So far, cases in Ghana, where are the people or the cases? The numbers are just increasing and there are no images or anything. So I understand your concern. But you see, if you've been watching City TV, our programming, you realize that we bring you some of these images that you're asking of. So, for example, on Monday, Bernard Ablett, who hosts Point of View, actually interviewed a whole team of people. There was a doctor involved, there was a nurse involved, there was a doctor who's a recovered patient, all right? A recovered patient from COVID-19. She shared the entire experience, what it was like, what the symptoms were like, what she went through, the fears, the way her mind was working, and all of that is there. You can go back and watch Point of View from Monday's edition of Point of View, okay? There's another story of Mr. Dra, who we videoed earlier. This was about 3 weeks ago. He's a recovered patient. He was in the Ghana East facility there. There are stories of people who have been through it and have recovered and are sharing their stories. Of course, you can understand, just like maybe you, a lot of people feel that the stigma is just too much, so they don't want to put their faces out there. But there are others who are saying that, no, it doesn't, I need to help the rest of the community, and this is the way I can help. I will put myself out there, and I will talk about my experience. So, yeah.
Yes, guys, so this has been the Hello, Mr. President segment of Breakfast Daily. We're coming back on next week, Wednesday, with all your questions, so send them in. You can either do a 1-minute video or send us a 250-word letter addressed to the president, or you can send them directly to our email, hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com, or send it to our WhatsApp line, 0550-585-832. If you're in the diaspora and still want to address the president, just use the country code +233.
Yeah. All right. So
we have Alison.
We have Alison. Let's take a look. Yes, we're going to have a conversation with her. But let's take a look at this video from her, and then we'll come back and have a conversation.
Another day like yesterday, this right here is nothing new. Another day like yesterday, this just ain't out of the blue. Another day like yesterday, this right here is nothing new. Another day like yesterday. Don't act like you're about to change things. You go about doing all the same things. You talk like you're about to make it something new. Don't be fooling, get a clue. All they know you got to go and make a change. 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 Another day like yesterday, same old feeling, same old game. It just ain't worth it for the about to make it something new. Don't be fooled and get a clue. All they know you got to go and make a change. Go and make a change. Go and make a change. Go and make a
All right, welcome back. And so that's Alison, and she's here right with us. Alison, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's good to have you here, and I love your music. It's
Thank you
beautiful.
so much. I appreciate that.
Have you always been into music?
Yes, ever since I was young. So your stereotypical singing in church type of thing. I'm a
Okay.
pastor's daughter, so I've been doing it my whole life in different capacities, but yeah.
So what brings you to Ghana? And it looks like you're in Ghana and continue your music in Ghana.
Yeah, so I've been here almost 3 years now. I actually grew up with a lot of Ghanaians and
Oh, I
Nigerians,
see.
so I always sort of had Ghana on my radar. And then, luckily enough, 3 years ago I got a job here, so it brought me here, and I sort of wanted to continue music here as well.
Yeah, so I heard you earlier on, you were singing Nominate.
Yeah.
From Stone Boy.
I'm a big fan of Afrobeats, dancehall, all that stuff.
Mm.
So I've been into that kind of music for a long time.
Fantastic. This sounds good.
Thank
What
you.
are you working on now?
So right now I just released the song that you just saw. I just released that now, and then actually next month I'll be putting out my EP, which is a really special project to me. It's sort of like, I'll call it my love letter to Ghana, because all of the songs, it's a 5-track EP. All of the songs were inspired by either events that happened during my time in Ghana or cultural issues that I noticed. So it's sort of just my bringing together my time here. So that'll be out at the end of June.
Talk to us about what we just watched. Change. What inspired this single?
So that song, I actually wrote that song during a time when I was feeling like really unmotivated in my life. You know, I had a lot of ambitions and aspirations, but the day to day was just like, ugh, I'm stressed. I don't want to do this. I'd wake up every day feeling really unmotivated. And I thought it was actually, I wrote the song actually 2 years ago.
Wow.
And
I thought you wrote it for the COVID
Exactly,
season.
right? So it was very timely release, because that's also sort of how I think a lot of people have been feeling, right? Like there's just no motivation. There's stuff, our life has been sort of put on hold right now, and there's not a lot of motivation to get it done. So it's just sort of day in, day out, every day is the same, kind of like right now as well, you know, and nothing is happening, but also sort of I would say a call to action to sort of get up and make a change, and you know, you're only going to be as happy as you want, and you're the only one that can influence that. So
how has your experiences influenced your creative process? I mean, U.S., Palestine, Israel, now Ghana.
Yeah.
How do they all influence who you become
I mean,
as
I
an
would
artist?
say it's made me a very diverse. I think I can make music to a lot of different sounds, if anything. It's sort of helped my creative process in the fact that it has enabled me to collaborate with a lot of different artists from different backgrounds of life. I used to make more like rock alternative music, you know, so if you can imagine, if you can imagine that, it really has enabled me to do a wide variety of different genres. So I think that has helped tremendously. And also obviously here I wanted to do something that was more inspired by sort of Afro vibes, Afro rhythms and sounds. And so that's what I'm doing now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where can your music be found? Where can we find it?
So Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, all of that. It's Allison, Allison. And you can follow me on social media as well. It's Things by Allison. Things by Allison without an O. People get very confused. There's no O. So A-L.
Well, what happened to the O?
I want it to be different. I was like, there's too many Allisons with an O. I got to take out the O. No, I mean, it works. Honestly, like on all the major music platforms, there's already Allisons. So I was like, let me just take out the O. I considered taking out the I too, but then I was like, that's too much. Too much. So Things by Allison, Allison.
Okay, and what's your YouTube channel?
So also Allison, Allison. You'll find it. That's the only.
Allison without an O.
Allison without an O. Just remember that. All my friends make fun of me. They're always like Allison with Allison.
But in terms of a syllable, it actually makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense because you don't really hear the O very much, anyways. You know, so it's kind of flows. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I don't want that to catch on. Don't call me that, please.
No, we're not doing that.
It's just Allison.
But I love the music and the video and everything else.
Thank you so much.
And I look
really
forward
appreciate
to you coming back to share more of the songs on the EP
love to.
with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you at home for joining us for Breakfast Daily. Don't forget that at 3 p.m. we have the special COVID report for you. You don't want to miss it. The numbers have gone up now. People are talking about, should we open schools, should we close schools? Government is appealing to all of us to stop the stigma, right? So if you have any questions about COVID and you really want to understand it more, you want to listen to City FM and City TV at 3 p.m.
Absolutely. And don't forget that if you missed any of the segments of this show, you just